Does ignoring a man work when he is pulling away? My name is Coach Adrian. I am joined by the one and only Coach Alex Carmon. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. What about you?
Very good, very good. I'm so excited to do this video, this podcast episode on this dynamic of how to respond when a man pulls away. I know that just like you, so many women have reached out to me because they didn't know how to react when a man starts to pull away. And unfortunately, it happens way too often. Perhaps you just started to date. This man was giving you a lot of attention, doing all the right things, saying all the right things. And after a few weeks or perhaps a few months, he starts to pull away and you're unsure how to respond, what to do. You're afraid that you've lost him and you want him to be connected and engaged again. Or perhaps for others, you were in a relationship, committed relationship for a long time. You sense that things are not going well, or perhaps the breakup has already occurred and this man is pulling away, giving you less and less attention, and you're unsure what to do. You feel fearful, you're insecure, and you don't want that to cause this potentially wonderful relationship to end. How do you control your fears? How do you control your insecurities? And what type of actions actually work when a man is pulling away?
Yeah, that's a good question, Coach Adrian, because as you mentioned, it is difficult sometimes to control our emotions. And when you first met this guy, everything was just incredible. Everything was perfect. So you have in mind all those beautiful ideas. You have in mind what you want to experience with him. But the moment it starts to pull away, it's kind of like all of this fairy tale will just fall apart. And you don't know how to react, ladies. If we are doing this video, it's because we have a very specific strategy that goes against what you think that you have to do, that goes against what your grandma would give you as advice. Because when a man is pulling away, you should not try to reach out to him. You should not try to communicate with him. You should not try to ask questions, because that will make him even pull away more. Why? Because he will get a sense of control. He will also feel that you're harassing him, even if you're just asking questions. So it's weird, but ignoring a guy that is pulling away will always make him come back, and it will also always make him open his eyes. So it is very important for you to understand that ignoring a guy when he's pulling away, when he's just sending you text messages that have no sense, just a hello, how are you doing, but not even trying to talk to you. The moment you ignore him, you're acting like 0.1% of women, because 99.9% of women will ask him questions, will be needy, will also talk about their feelings, right, Coach Adrian?
Yes, and the first thought that may come to your mind may be, I don't want to play mind games. I don't want to play games. I don't have time for them. Isn't there another way? And I want you to understand that we are not asking you to play mind games. We're asking you to value yourself. And we're asking you to make sure that you also protect yourself from behaviors that may be both hurtful and also that over the long run may create a dynamic that provides you even more pain. We do not want to train a man to start to neglect you or to not value you in the way that you deserve to be valued. And so we're not asking you to be cold and bitter and to ignore someone who is genuinely trying to connect with you, but it means that you need to be more emotionally distant than they are. That you need to make sure that you're not giving them too much attention, validation, or that you're not putting in more effort than they are to preserve the connection and the chemistry that you have. That is what I have seen work so many times before.
Yeah, it's great for you, Coach Edwin, to mention that because it's not about game. It's about human psychology and specifically male psychology. Because we received a lot of education. We received a lot of false beliefs, guys. This is just easy to understand now. And when a guy is putting away, we have to understand that he's putting away because of a reason. And usually the reason is that he's having control. He doesn't have to think twice about where to get you out. He doesn't have to think twice about how to dress up. He doesn't have to try to do something different to get your attention because in his mind, he's putting away in a sense that I got her. I got her attention. I got her love. I finally don't have to discover something. And I want to say something important. Even if you didn't have sex with him, a guy can a little bit take you for granted. In this situation, what makes a guy react? What makes a guy wants to give you value? It is usually when you will ignore him and become distant.
So sometimes it's shocking because the man was the one that projected himself more into the relationship, that talked about, vacation plans and moving in or introducing each other to your respective families, or perhaps even flirted with the idea of marriage. And then out of a sudden, out of the blue, they're pulling away and you don't know why, and you want to find out why. And so it's very natural for you to want to communicate, to understand rationally what is going on. But the reality is that sometimes what Coach Alex described is happening at a subconscious level. A man doesn't even realize that he is acting because he feels comfortable, because the chase is over. It's happening in a subconscious way. And so he may not be able to verbalize that reality, and he may not be able to provide you with an answer that you will find satisfactory. So going down that route will just create negative energies. He will get flustered and frustrated. He will feel controlled. He'll feel like you're chasing him, and he's going to lose interest. But instead, if you are more detached, more in control of your emotions than he is, it is just a matter of time before he will start to chase you again. Just a matter of time before he realizes what he has lost. You want to be a high-value woman, one that believes in that you deserve the best and that you're not going to settle for anything other than that. And sometimes, unfortunately, the best way to convey that message is by pulling away.
And when you pull away and you start to ignore him, he will feel that you're different. I want to really put the emphasis on this one, because if you pull away, you will act like no one else before. If you start to ignore him, you will act like no other women. So it's immediate in his mind that he will tell himself, she's different, she's unique. I can't play her. Subconsciously or consciously, I can't. I have to respect her. I have to communicate with her. I have to explain my behavior because she is not in a need. And so that's why when you would ignore his text message, ignore his calls, ignores, please, his likes and everything on social media, because most of the time you want to react by respect. But a guy that is pulling away, it's not that he's not respecting you, but he's not giving you the answers to feel good. So we don't want to react to that. So we want to set the standard and raise them so this guy can understand that he can't play you, he can't fool you. And so it's not a game, but sometimes it's great to take your time before to respond. It's great to show that you have activities during your day, that you were not here looking at your phone all the time.
Coach Alex, you have so much experience coaching women in this exact dynamic. So I wanted to ask you a couple of questions that I've been asked to get your perspective on.
Sure.
What if, the first question is, what if the man asks you, why are you not responding to me? Or why are you acting different? Are you mad? What type of answers should you give or can you give in this type of dynamic? And is it helpful to really be honest and say, listen, you are being more distant, and so I am being more distant too?
So that's a really good question, and I will answer. I have done a masterclass live. It's 1 hour and 30 minutes on male psychology and the triggers. What makes a guy really see that you have changed and loves you? So if you are interested in it, you can just click in the description box below. You will find out. You will find out this free content. It was a live. You will have the recording, but I just explained to you what's going on in his mind. Why? Because in this masterclass, I talk about the two things that makes a guy kind of react: your professional value, your social value. So if you don't respond to him, it's because you were socializing or you were focused on this very important project. When you can give an explanation and using the triggers that makes a guy understand your value, first of all, he will stop pulling away. You would raise your value and you know how to respond. So it just have to have an explanation, and it needs to be something interesting. It cannot be like, oh, I was at home doing nothing. It should be, oh, I was going out with my friends. I didn't have my phone with me, but no worries, I will respond later. And it's just showing that you're busy. That's what is very sexy. I want to make sure that on this, for a guy that is pulling away, not for every guy, but in this specific case, it is important, Coach Adrian.
Very nice. Very nice. The second question that I have been asked before is, does it ever end? If we're in a committed relationship, been together for years, perhaps we're even married, we have kids, and my husband is being distant and pulling away, will I still have to use this approach?
That's a very good question. And I tend to say yes and no. Yes, because this is an approach. And we have people that could be avoidant. And the moment you give them love, they feel suffocated. So we have to adapt ourselves. Love is not that easy because this man is not like you. You don't share the same needs. So if we are facing a guy that is avoidant, that needs time for himself, then yes, you will have to keep this approach. Because in the meantime, the relationship will be amazing. And that's my no. With time, we start to learn each other very well. And we start to adapt our behavior. So facing a guy that needs some distance, for example, or facing a guy that loves the challenge, the moment, ladies, you apply this, he will be so involved in the relationship that he will make you feel emotions that nobody make you feel before. So it's a yes in terms of approach, understanding male psychology and your psychology. And in the meantime, it's a no, because with time, we tend to just create different habit and behavior that will make a relationship very sustainable.
Beautiful. Thank you for these insights, because I know so many ladies are wondering how to navigate those dynamics and have these questions, because I've been asked these questions so many times before.
I understand that, Coach Adrian, and I know that you're also the master of rebuilding ourselves, feeling confident. So the question that I'm sure you have, ladies, is how can I feel great when I'm missing him? What can I do to stop missing him and start ignoring him?
Yeah. So the first thing that I will say is that it's normal. You're not crazy. And it's perhaps has to come to a certain extent with this feeling of being in love. But you need to understand that you can take control of your emotional destiny. And it's very, very important for you to start to focus on things that are within your control. Train yourself, retrain your brain to do things that bring you emotional independence. And the more of those things you can do, especially if it's for a sustained period of time, and the more you will basically train yourself to navigate through these waves of emotions. And it's almost like training yourself to run for a marathon. Slowly but surely, every day, as you start to develop different habits, perhaps you're eating differently, perhaps you're working out daily, what used to be insurmountable slowly starts to become manageable. And before you know it, you're excelling. But you have to accept the fact that you're going to have to go through this initial period of discomfort where you're learning and training yourself to deal with perhaps circumstances or challenges that you have not been equipped to deal with in your day-to-day. But the more you're focusing on the things that you can control, the more you're busy, the more social you are, the less you talk about this man, the less you check their social media, the more you are doing things that are aligned with your core values, the easier it becomes to navigate those emotions. We don't want to live in the past, and we don't want to let our brains have too much time to start to think about the worst potential outcome. And the more we're grounded in the present moment, in the pursuit of doing all these things, or through mindfulness activities, like playing with a pet, or playing with a child, or doing a puzzle, or building Legos, the more you're going to also be able to tune out those negative emotions because you're focusing on what you can control.
That is very important, ladies. So make sure that you will leave a comment just right below with the actions that you will do. Because if you do actions, if you make yourself busy, your brain will not make you think about this guy that is pulling away. And by ignoring him and by learning a lot about male psychology, remember in the description box, you have 1 hour and 30 minutes of free content. You will love it. You will find a way to understand your guy. But when you realize that ignoring him, make him give you attention and value you, that is how you can build a real relationship. So make sure that you subscribe to this podcast platform, to YouTube channel, Love Advice TV, because we want you here. Make sure to smash the like button. And I think that we can tell you to keep fighting the good fight.
That's right. That's right. We know it's not easy. It is a very challenging thing to deal with. But once you come out on the other side, knowing that you are stronger and more resilient and no man can shake your inner core, you will be transformed. And you can be even happier as a result in your love life moving forward. So you are fighting the good fight. We are so thankful to be part of your journey and for your trust. And we promise to come back and to do more videos for you and more podcast episodes to support you.
So if you have any question, if you want us to do a video, we will read every comment. So please leave a comment, just write to us. If you want to go further, you also have withmyexagain.com. It's our website. We do private coaching. We can still be in touch with you. And the goal is really to be able to assist you. So make sure that you use all of the resources, and we will see you very soon, ladies. Take good care of yourself.